I'm sure most of us can remember fondly those times as kids when we had the opportunity to sleep over at another friend's house. Yummy snacks, late night movies, and board games, and staying up to the wee hours of the morning just having a blast with our pals. Those are some of the childhood memories that I think we like to cherish and hold on to the most, looking back many years later. But that wasn't the case for me, not as a kid at least. For some reason, I was incapable of spending the night at another friend's house growing up. I would always try, but by the time that 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock at night rolled around and I was sitting there in the dark, I would get afraid. This crippling anxiety would come over me, and I would have to go upstairs and wake my friend's parents up out of bed, call my parents, and have them come pick me up. I couldn't do it. Something about being comfortable in my own home, under the protection and care of my own parents, made all the difference for me. It took many years for me to get over that fear, but even now there are still some times when there is some lingering anxiety that I feel when I'm spending the night in a new place, whether it be an extended family member's house or even a hotel room. The unknown and the unfamiliar can be uncomfortable for us. We like stability in our lives. What's normal? It's easy in the midst of the uncertainty of the future to let fear creep in sometimes and stunt us from experiencing what may be the very thing we need to grow the most as people. But as Christians, we know there is a profound truth that should comfort us whenever we're afraid, and that is that God is with us, always. In Genesis chapter 26, verse 24, God tells Isaac, "Do not be afraid, for I am with you." The context of this verse is that Israel's patriarch, Isaac, has been displaced from his home, his stability, what he knows. He has been driven out of the land of Canaan because the Philistine king, Abimelech, has threatened him. And Abimelech believes that Isaac has become too powerful. He's a threat to his power. Isaac must have been very afraid in those moments. All the stability he had in his life had been taken away from him in a moment, and he didn't know where to go. And yet, this is the very moment that God steps in and reveals himself to Isaac and says to him, "Do not be afraid. I am with you." God is with us, brothers and sisters, regardless of if we feel safe and secure in the comfort of our homes or somewhere else when we feel vulnerable and afraid and don't know what to do. God is with us. He's sovereign and in control, and he loves us unconditionally. We can be at peace knowing that God is always there. You might not know this, but if you add up together all the times in the Bible that the phrases "do not fear," "fear not," "be not afraid," "take courage," and "do not worry" appear, they add up to exactly 365 times, one for every day of the year. There is not a single day, a single moment, where we cannot be comforted by the fact that God is always with us, and there is no reason to fear. Sometimes in life, it's inevitable that we find ourselves in uncomfortable situations where we feel vulnerable and we don't know the way back to stability and peace. But you can rest assured that God is with you in that moment, and he is in control.